The night of April 14, 1912, began like any other aboard the RMS Titanic, the unsinkable marvel of the seas. In the opulent first-class cabins, where crystal chandeliers cast a warm glow over mahogany paneling and silk draperies, passengers settled into their evening routines, oblivious to the iceberg lurking in the frigid North Atlantic waters. John Jacob Astor IV, the wealthiest man aboard with a fortune exceeding $150 million, lounged in his parlor suite on C deck, Suite C55 to be precise. At 47, Astor was on his honeymoon with his young wife, Madeline, who was pregnant with their child. He sipped brandy from a cut glass tumbler, discussing the future of his real estate empire, while Madeline admired a diamond necklace he had gifted her, its facets sparkling like stars against the velvet night visible through their porthole. Little did they know that porthole would soon become a portal to disaster. Nearby, in Suite B52, Isidore and Ida Strauss, the elderly couple who owned Macy's department store, shared a quiet moment. Isidore, 67, read from a book of poetry, his voice steady and affectionate, while Ida, 63, embroidered a handkerchief, her fingers nimble despite the years. They had been married for over 40 years, their love a testament to enduring partnership. "We've seen the world together," Ida would often say, "and we'll face whatever comes the same way." Their steward had just delivered a tray of tea when the ship shuddered, a low groan echoing through the hull like the sigh of a giant awakening from slumber. Down in the third-class berths, far below the grandeur, the atmosphere was more communal but no less hopeful. In a cramped cabin on F deck, the Goodwin family huddled together, Frederick and Augusta with their 6 children, ranging from infant Harold to 13-year-old Lillian. They were emigrating to America for a new life, Frederick dreaming of work in Niagara Falls. The children played with a small porcelain doll, its painted face a symbol of innocence amid the steerage smells of coal dust and sea salt. "This doll will see the Statue of Liberty before us," Lillian giggled, clutching it tightly as the ship jolted, spilling their meager supper onto the floor. In the engine room, deep in the bowels of the ship, Chief Engineer Joseph Bell and his team of 35 men toiled amid the roar of boilers and pistons. The massive reciprocating engines, each the size of a house, propelled the Titanic at 21 knots. Bell, a stoic Scot, had inspected the watertight compartments earlier that day, confident in Thomas Andrews' design. Andrews himself, the ship's builder from Harland and Wolff, paced his cabin on a deck, reviewing blueprints. At 39, he carried the weight of the ship's creation on his shoulders, his mind always calculating stresses and strains. The collision came at 11:40 p.m., a glancing blow that felt like a mere scrape to those above but tore a 300-foot gash along the starboard side. Simulations from modern experts show it wasn't a massive rent but a series of small punctures, each about the size of an A4 sheet of paper, allowing water to seep in slowly but inexorably across 6 compartments. 0.77 times 10 to the 52D in Astor's suite. The impact rattled the brandy glass, but he dismissed it as nothing serious. Madeline felt a chill, peering out the porthole where shards of ice now littered the promenade deck. Survivors later recounted ice tumbling into cabins through smashed portholes, a detail confirmed by recent scans showing shattered glass on the bow. .445A4A. Panic built gradually. Captain Edward Smith, 62, with his white beard and commanding presence, received the dire report from Andrews: the ship would sink in 2 hours. Smith ordered the lifeboats prepared, but there were only enough for half the 2,208 souls aboard. In the first-class lounge, violinist Wallace Hartley assembled his band, playing ragtime to calm the nerves. Molly Brown, the indomitable Colorado socialite in cabin B4, grabbed her fur coat and lifebelt, declaring, "Hell, I've been through worse than this." She would later help row Lifeboat 6 to safety, earning her nickname, the unsinkable Molly Brown. As water flooded the lower decks, the Goodwins rushed to escape their third-class cabin, the porcelain doll forgotten in the chaos. Barriers and locked gates separated classes, delaying many steerage passengers. Frederick carried little Harold, while Augusta herded the others, their cries mingling with the rising water's gurgle. Only 25% of third-class passengers survived, compared to 60% in first class, a stark reminder of social divides even in death. In the Strauss suite, a steward urged them to the boat deck. Ida refused to leave without Isidore, who insisted women and children go first. "We have lived together for many years. Where you go, I go," she said, sitting beside him on a deck chair as the ship tilted. Witnesses saw them arm in arm, a poignant image of devotion amid the frenzy. Astor helped Madeline into Lifeboat 4, kissing her goodbye. "The sea is calm. You'll be all right," he assured her, though his face betrayed doubt. Denied a spot himself, he lit a cigar and stood by the rail, later seen playing with a dog as the end neared. Down below, Bell and his engineers fought valiantly. They kept the boilers firing, steam valves open, maintaining electricity so the lights blazed until the final plunge. AB-12C6 concave boilers in the scan show they operated under pressure until submersion, allowing wireless distress calls and illuminated evacuation. EF 5557. Without their efforts, hundreds more might have perished in darkness. Andrews, knowing the ship's fate, was last seen in the smoking room, staring at a painting, perhaps contemplating his life's work. At 2:20 a.m., the Titanic broke apart violently, not a clean split but a tearing rupture through the first-class sections, crushing cabins and scattering debris. FA-53C1. The stern rose nearly vertical, then plunged, dragging 1,496 lives into the abyss. The bow settled more gently, but the impact buckled structures. Harley's band played, "Nearer, My God, to Thee," until the waves claimed them. Over a century later, in the summer of 2022, with updates analyzed through 2025, underwater drones and ROVs from expeditions by Magellan and Atlantic Productions revisited the wreck, 12,500 feet down. B-1C-3FA. These robotic explorers, equipped with 4K cameras and sonar, compiled over 715,000 images into a millimeter-precise 3D digital twin, revealing hidden secrets of those final moments. 42B7E0. The drones penetrated the bow, where rusticles, icicle-like formations of iron-eating bacteria Halomonas titanicae, draped the hull like morbid decorations. 1A27E. In the first-class areas, a single cabin door remained stubbornly shut, as if guarding its occupants' privacy even in death. 9233539. Peering through gaps, the footage showed silt-covered deck chairs, perhaps where the Strausses sat, now encrusted in marine growth. Scattered shoes, dozens of them, lay in pairs on the seabed, evoking the feet that once wore them. Maybe Astor's polished brogues or a child's tiny boots from the Goodwin family. EE2D5E. In what was once a steward's pantry near the grand staircase, now a yawning void, the drone captured stacks of unbroken plates, their White Star Line emblem still visible, alongside wine bottles sealed against time. 91066. FA porcelain doll, propped against twisted debris, stared back with painted eyes, a heartbreaking echo of lost childhoods like Lillian Goodwin's toy. 0938. A deeper in, a leather-bound journal lay pinned under a fallen cabinet, its pages potentially holding final thoughts, though unread due to the depth's preservation. DOF 2A0. The engine room, explored by the drone, revealed the massive boilers, some concave from the pressure, confirming the engineer's heroic stand. FF2E50. An open steam valve on the stern deck, captured in the scans, showed power flowed until the end, a silent tribute to Bell and his men, all of whom perished. BB17E2. Shocking footage hinted at movement within the wreck, subtle shifts in the corridors, perhaps currents stirring silt or marine life like shrimp and rattail fish, turning the site into an artificial reef. Da 547F. Experts debated if it was something more, but science points to natural processes, the bacteria devouring the hull at 400 pounds per day, predicting collapse by 2030 or 2050. D20DFE. The debris field, vast and poignant, holds unopened champagne bottles, perhaps from Astor's suite, and statues that once adorned the lounges. 8E95FA. Repositioned lifeboat davit corroborates First Officer Murdoch's actions, showing he stayed at his post, aiding launches before being swept away. 392 DDC. These revelations breathe life into everyone's story, the rich like Astor, who died with dignity, the devoted Strausses, immortalized in their choice, the resilient Molly Brown, who fought for survivors, the tragic Goodwins, all lost save none, the selfless engineers and crew. The drone's eye uncovers not just metal and rust, but the human drama frozen in time. As the wreck fades, the digital twin preserves it, ensuring the tales of courage, love, and loss endure. In the cold depths, the Titanic whispers, "Remember us, for in our end is the story of humanity itself."